your screen when I hand it over to you, correct?
Yeah, that's also fine, sir. So you want me to share the screen now?
No.
Okay.
Sure, we are live, so I'll just you can admit everyone. Yeah. There is a lot of background noise. Oh, looks good. Oh, sounds better. Sure, you can take it up.
Perfect. We'll just wait for a minute more just for others to join, and then we'll start in a minute's time. Okay. I think we have waited for it. Okay. First of all, welcome all for this session, for this monthly session on the S4HANA Special Interest Group. So the topic for the day is manufacturing. So here we have two guests, Shekhar and Prabha, who will be covering what all is available in manufacturing LOB within the solution S4HANA. So we are not going to propose anything out of S4HANA. The whole intent is to share what is available in S4HANA, which you can start leveraging within your solutions. So probably we'll just go into the session. And if you have any questions, put it into the chat. So myself, Prabha, Shekhar, all three of us, whomever is not speaking, will be answering that. And if at all any questions are required, probably we can also have those questions either at the end, or in case you need to express yourself, probably we can interrupt in between also. Shekhar?
Yeah, Shiva. Thanks for the introduction and for the kickoff of this call. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chandrasekhar. You can call me Shekhar. Actually, I'm part of the product success organization from SAP India, and I am also product expert and handling the topics around the manufacturing. So thanks for giving this opportunity to showcase these innovations which are spanning from the various releases starting from 15.11 till the current date of that is the 2021 release innovations. I would like to maybe I would like to quickly pause here to show the disclaimer which talks about most of the areas where this presentation and the content in this document. Yeah, I just hear Shiva as some of the message. Maybe can I continue?
You can continue.
Yeah, so this presentation on a related document and SAP strategy and possible future development, products and platform directions and functionality are all subject to change and may be changed by SAP at any time and any reason without notice. So with this one of the statement, I would like you to go through quickly this disclaimer, and with this I will go to the next slide, which we are going to talk about the scope here for SAP S4HANA Business Scope 2021 overview, which includes, though there are various LOBs and topics which are also part of the innovations journey of 2021 up till 2021. As our topic is manufacturing, we'll be covering most of the innovations and functionality around manufacturing area. So In this slide, you can see the complete snapshot of the SAP S/4HANA modular application portfolio, which is called MFP, and wherein we have various LOB-specific processes, functions, which are listed over here, and out of which you can see it, they are also plotted with the fitment of it as a part of SAP enterprise management layer, or these are some of the functionalities and solutions, whether they are part of the SAP S/4HANA LOB solutions, as well as the areas which are cutting across into the category of LOB solutions. So we are going to focus on some of the functionalities which are covered into the area MEC, which include the digital manufacturing, manufacturing execution, the topics which are related to the production planning and scheduling, external production engineering and operation, and most of the topics what we will be talking around the production planning and production execution. With the here we will be also focusing on including the current data highlights of 2021, which are actually, you can see here, includes the various release functionalities as a part of 2021 release. But the model of our workshop here, we will be starting with the feature functionality which are which became part of the release starting from the previous releases such as 1610, and we will also try to showcase those key features and innovation which are added as a to give significant value to the customers up till we reach to the 2021. And this is the brief, this is the agenda wherein we will be starting with the topic of complex manufacturing, followed with the MRP. Then we'll be talking on the production planning, extended production planning, production operation, and quality management and manufacturing theory apps is the last topic. I would like to also share here that my colleague Prabha will be walking you through from the first topic, which includes the PEO, that is a part of the complex manufacturing, and she will also be walking you through the interesting topic of quality management. So with that thing, I would like to hand it over to Prabha for walking you through the interesting topic of complex manufacturing, that is PEO. Over to you, Prabha.
Yeah, thank you, Shekhar. So let me introduce myself, Prabha Sublakshmi, and I'm a product expert from Product Success Cloud Co-Innovation team. And with a great intro from Shekhar, let's move on to the first topic, that is complex manufacturing, PEO, production engineering and operations. So let's move on to the next slide. So in this screen, you can see the different products that is delivered as part of SAP S/4HANA. So the bottom section, you can see the processes that are delivered as part of the shipment scope, and it requires the SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management License. And this is mostly of the standard PP process, like from maintaining production master data, followed by production execution, confirming and completing the production order, quality management activities, order costing. These things are mostly taken care in this area. If we move forward to the next section, that is the light gray area, here you can see the processes that are delivered as an add-on, and this requires a separate license. So this section mostly speaks of the PO, production engineering and management, production engineering and operation. It will be delivered as an extension of standard production planning to cover the shop floor engineering and operations that we perform during the shop floor execution process. If we want to execute the shop floor operation in a detail and in an efficient way, then the solution is PEO, production engineering and operation. Here you can clearly see that there are two sections in PEO. One is extended production engineering, the other is extended production operation. So the production engineering mostly deals with the manufacturing change management, BOM management, and also the production process planning. So it includes the activities like creating version controlled BOMs, routings, version management, and creating manufacturing chain records, and we can efficiently analyze the impacts due to the changes on manufacturing objects. And we can also define the operations and sub operations in the manage routing Fury app, and it also supports 3D visuals for the BOM items, and also we can have animated work instruction, and it also supports the text format of work instructions as well. And it allows us to define and assign the qualification requirement. Like if we want to perform an operation, that operator should have some qualification. So we can define and assign that to a particular operation activity. And also we have a buy-off functionality, like who can approve what. So that also we can define and assign it to the operation activity. So these are all the different activities that comes under production engineering. So when we see in the extended production operations, it mostly deals with the production order management and control, and also the complex assembly execution process, like assigning the operation activities to a particular operator so that he can view all the operations assigned to him in his own work queue, and he can start the perform operation and activities. So this production operation is mostly of complete execution process, like performing the goods issue, claiming and registering the tools required for that operation activity, and recording the results, inspecting and recording the results. And if any deviation occurs, we have very effective defect handling methods and non-conformance management. And it also supports the identification and traceability of batches and serialized parts with the help of Fury apps like a production action log and production genealogy, and we have as-built report as well. So we'll see the complete process flow of PO in the upcoming sessions. And move on to the next one. At the top, we have the LOB, different LOB solutions that SAP has provided. These are not part of the shipment scope, but still we can integrate these solutions with S4HANA using APIs or using platforms like BTP. So with that, moving to the next slide. So in this slide, you can see the different innovations that SAP has provided as part of S4HANA at each upgrade starting from 1709 till 2021. So if you focus on the highlighted one, which is 1809 release, we have some major good enhancement capabilities, like new Fury app has been introduced, like assign work app, using which you can assign a particular operation activity to a manufacturing user, and he can perform the assigned activity using the My Work Queue app. And there is some feature updates also happened in apps like perform operation activity, manage production holds efficiently, and then production action log Fury apps. And in the recent release of 2021, we have quite interesting things like a PO integration with digital supply chain, and it also supports PO integration with digital manufacturing cloud, which helps in orchestrate the complete production execution process. And it also is the planning methodology, just drag and drop the operation activity to the work center. You can planning made easy with that DMC. And then it also supports order split functionality for extended production operation. So you might already aware what is order split. It's like splitting the existing production order into two different orders in such cases. Like if there is any outage in the production facility and the operation is almost partially confirmed, we won't be able to change the resource at that time in the same production order, right? So in that case, we can go with the order split functionality, wherein the child order enables us to swap the resource. Also, in cases if the operator want to differently perform the operation for specific partial lot due to some quality reasons, in that case also we can go with the order split functionality. And in cases like if there is any missing parts, like material components are not available, in that case also we can go with order split functionality with child order having split quantity with with the complete full material availability. For that also we can go for order split functionality. So these are the different innovations that SAP is providing as part of 2021 release. So with that, moving to the next slide. So here you can see the manufacturing engineering process flow. Before going into the process flow, let me tell you the master data. What are the different master data we have for PEO? So we have material master, work center, version controlled BOM and routing, and also production version. So material master, work center, production version, these three things behave similar way like the standard PP process. Whereas in BOM and routing, it has some good functionalities in PEO. Like these BOM and routing or version controlled BOM and routing. Okay, so version control in the sense like a BOM will be created using a version number. Once you create the BOM, it will get the status in process. Okay, so once it is in the state, until it is in the status in process, you'll be able to make any changes to that. And once it is released, we won't be able to make any changes to that version. If you want to change anything in the BOM or the routing, then you need to go with a new version. You have to create a new version with reference to the change record, which greatly helps us to track the changes and analyze the impact due to the changes. Okay, so and in routing, we have many different functionalities. Like as we see in the first slide, we have many different functionalities in the routing. We can assign the superior operation and sub operation as well. If you see in the routing, standard PP routing will be assigning only the operation, whereas in managed shop floor routing, we have in managed shop floor routing app, we have we can assign the superior operation and also the sub operation, which is called as operation activity. And to that operation activity, we can define the specifications to be inspected and what is the qualification required for the operator to perform that activity, and who can approve that. That approval by off can also we can define there, and the PRTs, of course, PRTs we can define there, and 3D supported work instructions we can add there, and components, what are the components required for that operation, that also we can assign it to the operation activity level. And BOM can be created using maintain bill of material Fury app, and routing using manage shop floor routing app. So these are the master data. Now we will go into the process flow in manufacturing engineering area. So as you can previous slide.
Prabha, there is a question in the chat.
Yeah.
Is there any Fury app available for bill of materials and routing? Question from Mr. Sojan.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Sujan. So it is the same, like maintain bill of material app. We can use it for creating BOM, and also for routing, manage shop floor routing app is there. So in material BOM, we can create it from Visual Enterprise Manufacturing Planner also, like conversion each BOM. We will see that in this process flow. Okay. Yeah. So going to the process flow. So it starts from the PLM, like SAP PEO, S4HANA PEO can receive the BOM, source BOM from the PLM system. The source BOM can be an engineering BOM, or it can be a preliminary M BOM, or it can also be in shop floor BOM. Okay. So once we receiving the engineering BOM, we'll create a planning scope, like assigning it to a specific plant and assigning the source and target change record. So likewise, we'll create the planning scope, and this EBOM and planning scope will be assigned to a change record using manage unassigned BOM app. Okay, using manage unassigned BOM Fury app, we can assign the EBOM to the change record, so which greatly helps us to track the changes happened in that BOM. And it also supports the manufacturing engineer to identify all the manufacturing objects that are impacted due to that particular change. Okay. And we can create a new change record also by using manage change record app. And then once the EBOM is assigned to the change record, we can convert that EBOM to the MBOM using Visual Enterprise Planner. Okay. So Visual Enterprise Planner is the interesting tool which allows us to convert the EBOM to MBOM very easily by just dragging drop the components to the assemblies. Okay. So here using Visual Enterprise Manufacturing Planner, you can also view the 3D visuals of the work instruction, 3D visuals of the BOM items we can assign there in the Visual Enterprise Manufacturing Planner app tool. Okay. And then in manage shop floor routing, we already have seen that it has quite good functionalities like assigning qualifications, buy off template, inspection characteristics. If you want to record the inspections in a tabular format, it supports that also. So manage routing has a good quite functionalities in S4HANA. And then manage production version, that is same like C223, wherein you can assign this BOM and routing to the production version, and only after that we can create the production order. And production order change management, which is like if you after order creation, if you want to do any changes in the production order, then you can greatly use the manage production order app to create a change record for production order. Okay, so using that change record, you can easily track the changes made in the production order level. Okay, so once the change record is created for production order, you can directly go to manage order specific shop floor routing app, which greatly helps to make the changes only with respect to the production order, which won't affect the already existing master data. Okay, so if you want to change anything in the production order, like if you want to add or remove the components, or if you want to add some new operations, or quantity you want to change, or new MICs you want to assign, so manage order specific shop floor routing app helps greatly in that, which won't affect the existing master data, but simply make the changes in the production order alone. Okay, so this is the complete manufacturing engineering process flow. With that, we'll move to the next production operation process flow. So in engineering activities, we have seen all what are the different steps to create master data, and now everything is ready. Order is also in release state. So in production operation starts once the order is released. So now the operator can log in, and then he will be able to see all the production orders or activities assigned in the particular work center. He will be able to see that in the manage work center queue app. Okay, so he can directly input the work center name to get the list of activities to be performed in that work center, or input the production order number to see the operation activities to be performed for that production order. Likewise, we have different filter criteria to get the operation activities to be performed, and then he can move into from there he can move into the perform operation activity screen. So the other way is like we can the production supervisor can assign this particular operation activity to a specific manufacturing user. That is also possible. So using assign work app, the production supervisor can assign the operation activity to the manufacturing user, and the operator will be able to see it in the my work queue app. There will be a tab like assign to me. Within that, he can see what are the tasks assigned to him, and he can complete it on time. He can give priority to that, and he will also have the option to see all other operation activities irrespective of what is assigned to him. Okay, so once he got the operation activity to be performed, he just go into the detail screen, which directs him to the perform operation activity screen. Okay, so this is quite interesting screen. Why? Because like in standard PP, we have different execution process. Like goods issue will happen in MIGO, and then result recording will do in QA32. Inspection will be have all the quality related activities doing QA32, or and then confirmation will do in CO11N. Whereas in PO, all these functionalities will happen in one single screen, that is perform operation activity screen. Okay, so in here the operator can do the goods issue by simply assigning the serial number, and then he have the option to claim and register for the tools, and he can track the same in the track tool usage app, and he can record the results in the same screen itself. If he found any deviation, he can raise the defect, and parallelly he can put the operation on hold. And also we have the option to put the serial number on hold or only the material on hold. Even operator has the ability to put the operation on hold without raising defects also. So production hold is managed very efficiently in PO, and even we have very good functionalities in defect handling methods and non-conformance management area that we will see in the upcoming slides in quality management. And then buy-off, like once the operator activities is completed, he can approve that the operation is completed, and then it will move to the quality technician. He can confirm that quality operations are also confirmed. It is good to close the operation. Likewise, he can also complete the buy-off. Once the final buy-off, like final approval is completed, then the production operation will be confirmed automatically. If there is no buy-off assigned to that operation, we have an option like complete. Simply by clicking the complete option, order will get, like production operation will get confirmed automatically. So once the production order is completed, if you want to see and track the batch managed and serialized parts, then we have very good theory apps like product genealogy and production action log, and also as-built report, which give a detailed view of what are the components consumed and the hierarchical level of the batches consumed. So we can see the detailed view about the production order and the changes happened at the operation activities levels. Okay, so these are about production operation process flow. With
Yeah,
that,
Prabha, will it be possible for you to show a glimpse of any quick demo by sharing your screen?
yeah, yes, sure, sir. Yeah, let me share my screen.
Sheikh, Prabha, there are two questions in the chat. First one is whether PLM can be used as part of SAP S/4HANA 1909. Is the license similar to MMPP-SD as a core module, or is it an additional license offering?
It
Shekhar?
has
Yeah.
yeah. So PO is like an add-on which requires a separate license, and yeah, like Shekhar sir, you can confirm on that.
Yeah, with respect to the role of a PO, it definitely requires a separate license. But there is one more follow-up question, whether PLM can be used as a part of S/4HANA 1909 license similar to MMPP, SD, FI, and CO. On this front of PLM, I think maybe I don't have a detailed information about the license part of the with the role of a PLM, but surely we can come back to you on this by gathering the information from the respective team. Yes, Prabha.
Yeah, yes, 1 minute. Okay, are you able to see my screen? Fine. So here I have logged in as a production supervisor, and in manage work center queue app, I'm inputting the production order number, which shows the operation activities that need to be performed in that production order. And simply by clicking on execute option, I'm entering into the perform operation activity screen, wherein you can see the components to be issued and PRTs assigned, working instruction, and also the 3D view of the bomb components, the items. And we can see the documents attached to that operation activity. And then we have the option to see the different views of the 3D images. So by clicking on the drop down, we can see front view, back view, top view, whatever view we want, we can see by using the 3D viewer option. So this operation activity 10 is for for performing activities in the left side of the exhaust pipe. So here we can directly do the component consumption by entering the serial number and assigning reference designator. And here you can see the consumption quantity is 2. We have consumed only 1. So by clicking add icon, you can consume the other by assigning reference designator and also the serial number. And just click on save. So now the 2 of 2 quantity has been consumed successfully. Now the consumption is over. Just scroll down to see the different inspection characteristics that is assigned to the operation activity. And you can inspect the measurements and then input the measurement in the required MIC. And if based on the inspection results, if it is okay, then you can accept the inspection characteristics. Or if there is any deviation, then you can just click on that cross symbol, which means it is rejected. And if you want to raise defect, at the bottom we have record defect option to raise the defect. But here we are not rejecting any MICs, just accepting all the MICs. Once the result recording is completed, we can complete the operation by using the complete option at the bottom. Once you complete, it directly takes us to the next operation activity, which is installing right side of the exhaust pipe. By clicking on start, the operation activity will started, and the operator can view the right side of part of the exhaust pipe by clicking on that link. It will show the right side view of the exhaust pipe, and he can do the consumption in the same way what we did in the previous operation activity. We can do the same if for this right side pipe also, and input the serial number which needs to be consumed in the production order and assign it to the respective reference designator and click on save. Consumption will happen. So once the consumption is over, we can do the result recording based on the inspected results. So input the recorded results in the respective MICs and do the accept or reject. And the inspector, it allows the inspector to see the attachments, and based on that also he can perform the operation activities. So once result recording is done, we can do the buy off. So operator buy off is saved now, and then the production supervisor logging out from the system, and now quality technician now will logging in as a quality technician. Input the user ID for the quality technician and the password, and then click on log on. So now we'll get the screen like how a quality technician can access all the apps. We'll see the tiles that the quality technician can access. Click on manage buy off. It will show those buy off approvals pending with the quality technician. Go into the details page. So here you can see that operator has already approved, and you will be able to see the approved status. Now quality approver, like quality technician, can approve it. Like below you can see the options like approve and add. Approve means you can directly approve it. If you want to add any commands to the operator, you can add approve and add commands also. Once it is approved, it will disappear from the screen. And logging out from quality technician overview. Now logging in as a production supervisor. Input the user ID for PO production supervisor and input the password. Click on log on. So it shows the apps that the production supervisor can access. So here we can see different apps. Going to as built report. Here we have the option to see the changes in the material serial number and order wise also. Now I'm inputting the order number. It takes you to the screen where you can see the hierarchical way of consumptions happen. So in this screen, you can see what are the components consumed and whether it is backflashed or serialized or it is consumed manually, and what's the serial number, what's the consumed quantity, what are the batches. So everything, it gives the batch traceability and serialized part traceability, a detailed view. And then going into product genealogy app, it has quite good filter criteria. We can filter it with the serial number, material, production status also. Now here we are going with order number, going to the details section of the production order. Here you can see the operation activities that are completed or still in progress, the status of the operation activities, and also the components that is consumed. And it will also show the inspection characteristics, evaluation result, whether it is accepted or rejected. And if it is rejected, any remarks is there, that also they can see here. And the different PRT tools assigned to that operation activity, assigned to that production order, that also you can see in product genealogy report. Then we have track tool usage app, which is used to track the usage of the tool that is registered for a specific operation activity. Here also we have different filter criteria. By clicking on go, we'll be able to see all the tools that is registered for some production order. By going into the details section of particular tool, we'll be able to see the general informations like equipment number and then description of that and plant storage location. And below you have the climb history, which gives you a good idea on the what is the climb type, who climbed it, and when it is climbed. And in registration history, you can see the order and operation activity to which the tool has been registered. So these things also we can check in the registration history. Okay, these are the different apps that helps for identification and traceability management. With that, I'm ending the stopping the screen share and handing over it to Shekhar sir to proceed with the next topic.
Thanks, Prabha, for a wonderful insight on the topic of PEO, that is a complex manufacturing, and hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so coming back to the topic of manufacturing. So after we have the E-bomb to M-bomb handover, that was a logical beginning of the process whenever all the master data relevant activities are complete. And then now we are transitioning to the actual manufacturing process. We see here the similar map, what we saw in the previous session, previous topic of PEO. We have the typically here the foundational layer of enterprise management layer, specific areas which are covered as a part of SAP S/4HANA production planning, that is PP, which includes the areas such as the apps which including the planning dependent requirement, that is the demand management. We also have the MRP run and cockpit apps, which gives a very good analytical interactive capability for the material requirement planner to take decisions. Then we also see the recently added apps which covers the topic of capacity requirement planning, including monitor work center schedules. Here you can see also the details from the managed work center capacity, giving the information about the capacity, availability, and the ships. Now, managed schedules are some of the activity you also see into the as a part of the manufacturing capacity requirement planning activity as a part of scheduling of the operations. And this form the fundamental foundational layer. We also have a advanced planning and scheduling related topics, which are part of the SAP S/4HANA with some additional licenses involved, which include the areas such as a demand-driven replenishment, that is well known as a DDMRP. We also see the topics like predictive material and resource planning. We see here some of the interesting area which got became part of the SAP S/4HANA offering from the APO side as a EPPDS, which also gives the good capability for the planner to work with the constraint-based planning. Then you have here some of the procurement-specific areas wherein the MRP, wherein with this constraint-based planning, you can also work on the procurement side. On the LOB solution, which are typically a cloud-based solution like integrated business planning (IBP), which is having a very larger scope of planning capabilities, including demand sensing, sales and operation planning. Also, you have IBP response and supply planning as a follow up of the demand planning, and we also see the a topic around in the IBP which are being covered under the area of inventory and Ariba integration. Now, what is the role here is SAP S/4HANA's manufacturing production planning is also integrated with these areas with the various different integration methodology, and with which you can also have the master data and transaction data exchange between the SAP S/4HANA and the IBP for doing the planning activity, and then the output of the planning to be shared back to the for doing the manufacturing in SAP S/4HANA. Here in this slide, you can see the snapshot, the panorama of view of the innovations which hit the which were made available to the customer as a part of different releases, wherein you also see here that a very interesting innovation. We started getting added to the offering as a part of each and every release. That you can see here that production planning and detailed scheduling PPDS became part of the SAP S/4HANA manufacturing side as a EPPDS functionality from 1610. You also see here that from 1709, you see the demand-driven replenishment also started featuring as one of the most useful feature, which actually is giving material planner a good additional benefit to deal with the problem related to shortage or overpiling. Just to see here, as a part of 1809, multiple innovation which got further added into the space of a production planning, production operation, including the discrete industries related features. We also have extended production planning, wherein a demand-driven replenishment has got some few added, like mass adjustment of a buffer level, or having the visibility of a PIR and average daily usage. Also, the data aging in number of days into the planning horizon for the DDMRP, visualization of buffer level, and there are so multiple of those areas which SAP started strategically adding to the production to the area of a production offering portfolio, and which has made it very much enriched, giving the production planner, production supervisor, and actually the manager level roles to personas to handle it with a very effective way. So you can also see here that as a part of 2020 edition, we also saw some good addition from the addition of apps in the material coverage. We also see some production operation improvement in the production operation by addition of the production order of functionality like attachment services. We also have a very good user intuitive apps which got added into the space of a process industries, and addition of a pegging for project manufacturing. There are further addition into the space of optimizer, production planning and optimizer as a add-on to the EPPDS area, where you can also work with some of those constraints and those some of those cost related constraints and work or penalties to optimize your planning. Predictive MRP is also one of the important thing which is started featuring as a part of the release, and you also see here that it further got enriched as we move into the 2021 release. So we have in the production planning in collaborative MRP, that is a predictive material resource planning, you see the addition of various functionality. Also we have in the space of a collaborative MRP, wherein we have a supplier collaboration for MRP change request with Ariba network integration was one of the has become one of the very interesting feature, wherein the ever-changing dynamic changes of MRP can also be shared with the external source, which is very important to take them into consideration for their planning. So we also see here the area which are part of the releases, wherein we have some addition in the production operation and the predictive manufacturing. Now going to the topic wherein you see the
Shekhar?
first. Yes.
Sorry. In the previous one, there is a question from Mr. Sojan. Can you please show the BOM as well as recipe demo? So whenever we have a demo, there is a request to whether can we show the demo for BOM as well as recipe.
Are you referring to the PLM space, Mr. Sojan? Is it something related to the areas which are coming from the advanced, that is a PEO side that you are referring to?
Mr. Sojan, can you just unmute and respond, please?
Yeah. So yes, that's what in PM how this BOM and recipe. I heard that there are interesting query apps available. So if possible, and in your demo sessions, quickly cover it. It's better.
Yeah, Sujan, what we can do is we can definitely plan. These inputs are very crucial for us to include, and we will definitely take the note of this of the thing, because we don't have the demo handy as of now. from the PEO space or any other space, what we will do is we can definitely have a request for opportunity for us to interact with you as a part of the same session, and we'll provide some details around this area.
Thank you.
Thank you. So here you can see that as the MRP, which is a in the space of SAP S/4HANA, which also has got multiple of the features and benefit, which were very long time giving challenges to the material requirement planner, such as the MRP run used to run for longer time, and there used to be always have a very systematic. They used to have faced with the constraints of then sequencing the multiple plants MRP run after one after another when there is a logical connection between the net requirement calculation proposals between the two plants, and that used to make it a little rigid. It also as the requirement from the customer was more around having very close by to the real-time output from the MRP run, so that planner can work with the very latest information and can deal with the various situations. So on the speed on the MRP front was a crucial requirement, and this was taken care by this new MRP on SAP S/4HANA, which takes care of most of those challenges by reading multiple table in parallel mode. At the same time, and trying to create and creating those calculating those net requirement calculation, doing the scheduling, also running taking into consideration multiple plant at a time, and dispatching the MRP run with kind of in a parallel mode. So that gives a very good strength, kind of a capability to the planning function to work with most of the latest of the information and output from the MRP to work with the further replenishment. You can see at the right hand side there are interesting apps which are also giving some of those requirement which are because the planner has used to always share their challenge that the calculation or the output of MRP is difficult to comprehend. We also want some sort of a interactive capability to work with those proposals which are causing the replenishment go into the running into the delays, or also running into unwanted proposals. So there is a good interactive functionality provided by those MRP cockpits to deal with the doing some sort of changes when it comes to the external procurement. I'm referring to the first section of the slide here. We also see the EPPDS, which is giving a good functionality when you have a constraint-based planning is involved, when there are some capacity-related constraints, and the planning board also gives a very good addition after you actually subject these proposals to the planning board and to a very tight capacity, scheduling of those proposals, so as to reduce those, reduce any of the efficiency or utilization of the resource in an effective manner, and also to achieve utilization of resource in an effective manner. We also see here that some of those, one of the new addition from the advanced planning side is the demand-driven MRP, which helps you to prioritize sales sales over forecast, because forecast is usually most of the time is not very accurate, and the planner has to always struggle with the challenges which are coming from the whiplash effect, too much of an inventory, or running into unexpectedly into shortages around some of the components. So those all things are the answer to those kind of challenges are expected from the newer functionality, which is working in a decoupled mode, that's called demand-driven MRP. We also have one of the good apps, set of apps. Any question, please? Yeah, maybe Shiva, if it's not a question, maybe you can now. Can somebody mute their mic? Yeah. So also continuing with the the offering which are coming from the advanced planning side is a predictive material resource planning, which is a tool which gives a very good capability to the mid or long term planning function to work with work with the entire planning at a plant level for those items which are very crucial as a which may run into the which requires some special attention to do the planning at a mid or in a mid and long term horizon, and also take care of the constraints what the supplier are going to share with us, and those, taking into consideration those constraints, also we can plan the forecast which are going to be the actual demand for productive material requirement planning. So this is a very good interactive tool. We can also see a demo around this topic. We also have as a part of the 2021, there is a new functionality feature which got added, which provide most of the material requirement planning community to work with the time dependent stock levels, wherein here whenever you have any safety stock requirement is there for any material which is required to be planned with more care, you usually used to work with a static stock without having any consideration of a time interval. The safety stock can also be expressed in the form of a number of days coverage, and it can also be in the form of a direct the static number, but usually there is a pattern, and that pattern required to be there is always a trend on the scale of a time scale, and this feature gives you a very good feature of working with the time dependent safety stock. So maybe I'll quickly share show one of the demo here about time dependent safety stock with the right. So here is the demo. What will be give me a moment, maybe it's run into some error. I will open it once again. Right. So here you can see here that maintain product master safety stock method is MZ. We are working with not a number of days coverage, and here the product master specialist who is the owner of a material master or product master for plant level data is going to work with the this details for the additional this safety stock settings. So you can see here you are entering the material code, which we are going to subject it to the time dependent safety stock planning. We are going to choose that item, that material master, which is we need to go to the details of the product master here, which has a navigating from the general information to the plant level data. You see here there are multiple plants which we can select, out of which the required plant, and go to the edit mode here. Into the section of MRP data, here we can select the MRP safety stock method, which has the option of a static or time dependent days of supply and time dependent days of supply. And when we select it, we go into the other option of a coverage using a number of days. So time dependent safety stock, maintain time dependent stock levels. This is one of this app gives you further provision to do the setting with a role material planner for external procurement. And when we go into the app, selecting the material master, which we have already flagged as a with the MRP safety stock method MZ, that is time dependent days of supply. We go inside it, and then actually we are actually this demo is going to cover the area of time dependent safety stock with a coverage in number of days. So here we are going to express the setting of the safety stock with the by removing the static quantity, which in general we use, but we are going to go to the safety stock with the days of supply. That if the safety stock requirement is a 1 day, it has to cover. Target days of supply where the stock should lie is 2 days. And we are having a 3 interval of period. One is you can see here the 3 lines are representing 3 interval of times, and we are also having for the last interval a larger number of days, more number of days are required for the target days of supply. So the stock which has to be always replenished to its target days of supply has to be maintained over here. So with that thing, we have maintained those number of days, and now based on the plant independent requirement, that means the demand decides. When you enter the demand gets splitted across the number of days. When we enter the plant independent requirement, this is nothing but a forecast. This material is going to be procured with the quantity. So entering the same material here and going into the details here, we enter here the demand on a monthly bucket. So taking an example for our demo, we are entering here some of the quantities which are required to be produced or planned with the active mode of demand with the 50 and 150 for the 2 subsequent periods. Now, we are going to, after we have entered this demand, we go and run the material requirement planning run here. And the planning run will also take into consideration the master data, what we have set for that material in the form of a day's coverage on a time scale. So we go forward and do that. After the MRP run, you see here some of the figures which are showing up as a part of the demand we have entered. Now, after you subject MRP run, the system also creates the purchase requisition. I mean, the procurement type for this material is external procurement. But while it is on the top of the demand, it has also taken into consideration the safety stock. The safety stock, which is expressed as a requirement in the form of a number of days, a number of periods, what we have entered over here. So system does take into consideration here on the monthly basis, what should be the coverage, and it has added that number of coverage into the calculation. So you can see here for the TG0099 material, we have also set up the for the periodic interval you see on the first line, we have a nothing in the calculation as a safety days of coverage for safety stock or target stock, but for the second interval there is a one day as well as the 2 days for the target days of supply, and subsequently for the another period is 1 and the 3 days. So based on that, in that addition, the system is also trying to adjust the safety stock based on the demand which is planned for that monthly period. So the system does also add that requirement and add it to the demand in the form of a coverage. So with that, you can also see it in the subsequent section that how it shows up. So with this thing, maybe we can go to our PPT, cover our next topic. We also see one of the very useful feature which got added into the portfolio of material requirement planning, that is a MRP change request. MRP change request is typically situation whenever you have certain preponement or postponement or cancellation which happens from the customer side, and your entire supply chain is required to do certain correction into your procurement planning. When MRP run on a frequency, very closer frequency is running, it is also throwing some exception message to advance the procurement proposal to change the quantity which you are going to procure from either in-house production or whether you are going to procure it from vendor. So those changes which the MRP run throws, because on the other side, I mean at a customer order level, or for some changes, we do not see any traction for that item, so we need to either postpone it or cancel or do some changes. This information for the level of a bill of material which is actually procured as a from the external vendor, it need to be communicated to the vendor, and that process is very nicely added in the form of MRP change request integration scenario here. But this integration does not integrate with the any other SAP system, but you can have this integration as a standard process connected with the Ariba system, wherein you can Ariba network system, wherein you can have this this kind of exchange of information and the approval or rejection, because you can see at the right hand side here, when you run MRP, it does create some proposals and it prompts the planner to create a change request. The planner does the create a change request, and that change request is shared across to the Ariba network to be communicated to the supplier. When the supplier is informed, if supplier is ready to incorporate, to accommodate those changes, he does send a confirmation, and that confirmation also, gets taken into consideration for making the change final into our procurement quantities or schedules, purchase order changes, whatever are the things it is required to be done. Those things are with the confidence can be made possible. So here you can see here the planning. This is a very good brief sketch shown between the two systems, SAP S/4HANA and which is a Ariba network system, wherein this process starting with the planning and then receiving the plan at the other side, commitment of the plan, update plan. You also have create purchase order, receive the purchase order. After that, you may also subject to you come across the situation for changes at the plant level, and it need to be communicated. So it goes via flow chart of acceptance or rejection or alternate, and that this step, this portion segment of the process flow chart is actually addressed using this process, wherein we have acceptance or rejection for the MRP changes. If you are not allowed to do the changes, you need to go with the same quantities or same dates, because vendor has shown his inability because it has already been taken into manufacturing or procurement, and there are no scope for him to take accommodate to changes. So these are some of the things which also gives a lot of benefit for managing the cost of inventory. Also not only at the level at the organization, but also it helps the vendor to be work in a tandem with the synchronized mode with the parent organization. So this shows the nice analytical the reports also, that how the changes have been proposed and accepted or rejected. And this is what is the topic what we discuss. We also see some of the nice areas, apps which are available as a part of production planning, capacity planning area, because capacity planning in a classical way, there were not a lot of feature functionality to deal with the knowing the available capacity or working with the dispatching or scheduling of the proposals, the plan orders or production order on a with the looking at the available capacity and the schedule. So those things are achieved with some of the new apps. We also see here, whenever you see that you need to group some of the work center which are logically forming, which are logically are part of the same categories or doing the similar kind of activities, you can also create a hierarchy, and that group can be formed. For example, there is a turning machining centers or some group of labors you want to identify as a to see the cumulative status of the capacity. Those can also be achieved by creating the groups. You can also subject this group to various activities like predictive material requirement planning or any other area wherein as a for the planning purpose, you can also make use of this as a a cluster of the capacity available. So this is one of the app. You also see capacity mass maintenance because you have multiple work center and you require to deal with the situation that you have to in a mass mode change create some interval and shift definition. And when the similar, you can also want to use some filter which is based on a material production version of work center, because that work center has become a part of the routing. And you can very easily relate it to the production version. And based on that filter, you can also in a mass mode create new shift interval. If you want to create some third shift, or you want to change some shift sequence, or you want to create some make some changes into the shift definition, those things which are available by using mass maintenance of capacities. You looking at the capacity from the stable of a capacity requirement planning, there are 3 apps which are available, which are actually for manage work center capacity, then capacity scheduling table and capacity scheduling board. So this gives a very good view of the available capacity at the shop floor at a plant level. That if you see for the pacemaker work center, what is the utilization in form of a either percentage or hours, you can see a very detailed, nice overview screen, which gives the status of that work center into the period of a periodic interval of the week or months, whatever interval you select in the initial setting. And it also gives you very good clarity that whether the current load on the work center in the form of a capacity is it a normal load, and you can set up those percentages. So you can see at the right hand side here. You can see here that these are the settings which allows you to define those percentage and the color coding of the bar. That gives you very vital information to the planner about the utilization of the work center, especially the pacemaker work center. Going to the next is, whenever we see the proposals which are awaited to be dispatched to the work center on the time scale, on the basis of available capacity, you have option to select your industry type, whether a process industry or a discrete industry. You also require to work with some number of days allowed in the past. For example, you also want a cushion of letting the rescheduling proposal to go allowed to be gone into the past by 4 or 5 days. You also would like to use a different strategy for planning mode, whether it is a bucket or you also want to have a scheduling control based on a finite scheduling or infinite scheduling, and the direction, which is a forward or backward. So here the planning mode sequence or bucket most of the time gives you a very nice, I mean, based on your requirement, you can select those. Okay, maybe Shiva, can you please help here? So here we see that these are some of the nice features which facilitate you in a tabular mode to do the dispatching of the your work to the work center, and it also shows you whether what kind of a possibility because whenever you are selecting here a pacemaker work center, the pacemaker work center also gives you option to work with a midpoint scheduling, because your rest of the operation are also required to be aligned to the operation which is categorically dispatched by selecting the the available space on the available capacity. So these are some of the nice interactive apps which gives a very good capability to the shop floor supervisor for effective utilization of the capacity planner, the effective utilization of the capacity. Now, this is the monitor work center schedules. I mean, the names is a capacity scheduling board, which also gives you a very nice Gantt chart of the proposals of the the orders which are lined up against the work center, and you can also into the context mode do some sort of changes to this in a graphical mode. So this is a kind of a overview of the load of the proposals for the work center onto the scale of a time. So this gives you a complete visibility of the. So these are some of those areas which we saw just now. We also would like to show quickly on the embedded PPDS specific addition here that when from the release of 1610, we got this new feature that facilitate you to work with some constraint based capacity planning, because MRP run works on a infinite mode, but you are the requirement from most of the customers that we also would require to check what is the status when we have certain constraints. And PPDS has been one of the most trusted tool which actually is to give good planning capability to the planning community for working with the constraint based capacity planning. So here those heuristics which are available are also merged into the MRP as an option for when you dispatch a MRP run into the SAP S/4HANA. It also, whenever you are selecting any material to be planned under the PPDS planning, that heuristic in an infinite mode can also be selected for those items earmarked to be planned with the PPDS specific run. We utilize of SAP S/4HANA that it takes care of the one transaction, takes care of dispatching both the runs, and it also has some benefit like simplicity and seamless integration, one coherent application, consistent look at feel, intuitive navigation. There are good integration that you can. Next to that, you can work with those capacity planning board and doing the working with the onto the capacity planning board, and work with the constraint based planning. So this is the slide which you can see here that production scheduling board allows you to do the similar activity what we saw into the previous apps related to capacity requirement planning. You in the second screenshot here shows about when you have a supplier create optimal orders for supplier when you have optimized you want to optimize the result of your MRP by creating collective purchase order for the material shortages. So here it gives you very good calculation logic to optimize the collective purchase order, and it also takes into consideration the supplier capacities in order to harmonize own requirement against supplier constraints. So predictive MRP, which is an important tool, as we discussed in the beginning of this discussion, that predictive MRP is the tool for mid and long-term planning. It gives a very good feature functionality to work in an interactive mode for simulation of the proposals and to come out with the most possible forecast, because the output of this is change or optimize by taking into consideration the constraint which are originating from the work center capacity, or the constraints which are earlier defined as a limit the vendor can supply the quantity with. Those constraints are taken into consideration and the mid and long term plan is defined. So this also works with very with the required ease in an interactive mode. We can also see some demo here. We here have a manufacturing constraint-based planning scheduling. In the interest of time, I will try to take it little fast that the constraint-based scheduling is a part of PPDS extended production planning and scheduling. To the challenge of different product may go through common process steps. So multiple products going into the same production line. And if you want to make some logical grouping of those and subject it to the manufacturing activity, this is some of the good functionality which facilitate doing that sequencing of orders and combining of the order in to follow the same manufacturing process. And also the production planning optimizer is a part of 2020 release, gives you the benefit to work with the constraints which are originated from the challenges related to the resource capacity or stock on hand. You have to work with the firm order, lead time, safety stock. Uh, the key characteristics with which you can work here is based on a production, storage cost, or transportation cost. These are the costs, some of the influencing pointers which you can use for planning, optimizing your production plan or your procurement plan. So this takes into consideration entire supply chain, the activity coming from production, procurement, and sales. All this can be encompassed, and those challenges which are coming from the penalties or cost can be some of the good inputs for influencing the plan and the quantities. So this is the feature which is coming from this area. We also have the SAP S/4HANA predictive MRP, which we discussed in the previous slide also, that provides you in the area of a mid and long term demand scenario, where the planner has to do planning for entire year before, and a lot of factors which are required to be taken into consideration, which include capacity, production, purchasing, and for internal material flow. And the approach which is used for this is typically work on the similar functionality of MRP. This is much far better than long-term planning, which is a classical functionality available for long-term planning from the ECC world, because this is based on a simplified MRP logic. We do not have to dedicatedly use per material or per scenario any lot sizing process, but it is always plant driven, and it also does the from header level to the sub-assembly and component level planning. You can also select the planning level at assembly level or at a header level. So this feature is also provides the proactive proposals to the planner that you can either prepone the production. You can add, it also asks you whether you want to add some additional capacity when you are dealing with the in the simulation. You are dealing with some of the challenges which are coming, which shows that there is an overload, or which shows that the plan is not going to get it because of shortage of material. You can do some sort of rescheduling or change in the quantity. And it is also possible to accept the overload capacity which is coming, that we are acknowledging that we are letting the system plan even if there is an overload situation arises. So these are some of the nice things which we can see. I can also quickly show the demo, but we also have to cover some of the part around the next topic in the QM and DDMRP. So maybe I will just take 5 minutes to showcase the demo of a predictive MRP, and you can. Yeah, you are starting the process with the creation of a maintained plan independent requirement in the same way the way you run the MRP. We have selecting the option for working with the top level material, which are the finished product. And then we are going to enter the demand here. I will try to see if I can run this demo a little fast so that we can also cover the rest of the topics. So we are entering the demand and going into the running with this process. As we move forward, we are schedule a MRP run. The MRP run is this is a MRP run for simulative planning. So schedule predictive MRP creation, which we are doing, is exactly the same with the way we do the productive MRP run. as we move forward, the system creates some proposals, and now we are ready for doing those process PMRP simulation. With the quantity entered as a part of demand, there are certain capacity plans. As a part of simulation, we see certain capacity issues which are shown with the red color, and you have a various option to work with those capacity issues. That for some of those issues you can also disregard, because you are sure that you can add some work center or some labor capacity in order to deal with those kind of a situation. Now we see a second challenge of capacity overload, and that calls for the planner to go into changing the available capacity. Whether would you like to have extra load on the capacity, so system does ask you that proposal and you can add that. The way you are going forward, you are resolving the challenges and the capacity issues, so that your plan is completely free from the those constraints. Now system is also giving you the option to prepone for the selected quantity, and that proposal you can accept. That adopting of the proposal is reducing the capacity issue to only left to the one. And this is how, in a sequential manner, you can work with those issues. And you can also drill down to the bill of material below the finished product and see some of the issues which are originating from the component level. And if you want to change some of the production line or any source of supply, that is also possible to change here. So that which you are doing, and to clear the final capacity issue, that we are changing, and we can also go ahead and change some of the quantities here. So with this view, we also see the delivery performance which the system gives here, and we are actually going to the final step of seeing the simulation summary, and it also has a very beautifully logged what are the action we had taken. We had done some changes in the capacity, we had done some preponement of the production, or we had done some change in source of supply, and there were some disregarded capacity issues also we have dealt with. So this is a very systematic interactive process which gives you a very good way to deal with the capacity with those challenges which are coming from the area of mid and long-term planning. We are going to the next area, which is a DDMRP. What we discussed, that DDMRP is typically a process which wherein
Shekhar,
right.
Shekhar, sorry, last 10 minutes, some of the customers might drop out.
Okay. So fine. Okay. So we actually, yeah, Shiva, you are saying that we can speed it up. That's what you're trying to say?
Yeah, we have
Okay.
10 minutes to get the sessions completed.
Okay, with this, I would like to hand it over, just taking 1 minute more, that we have in the area of process order execution. We have a very nice addition, which in the area of a managed process order, wherein it gives a very good provision to select the list of the orders based on the statuses, whether it is based on the delays, or there are multiple graphical visual filters with which you can select those proposals, and you also see get a very good information about any of the order running into the in delays, or there are certain challenges related to the missing components. So this app gives you wonderful information, and with that thing we also show a synopsis of manufacturing analytics, various list of apps which include component list, material ware use list, batch ware use list, overall equipment efficiency, and multiple other areas to work with very good analytical visibility. And with that thing, I'll hand it over to Prabha. Prabha, maybe you can quickly wrap it up with the selected QM.
Yeah, yes, sir, sure. So far we have seen the complex manufacturing, production planning, and the process order scenarios. Now let me quickly show the QM area. Okay, I'm sharing my screen.
We cannot see a screen.
Yeah, 1 minute. Okay. Fine. So thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing. So here in the screen, you can see the brief overview of the quality activities in quality management module. It starts with quality planning. So wherein we have some good enhanced capabilities in the manage inspection plan Fury app, and followed with that quality inspection, which allows us to create the inspection lot automatically, and very good defect handling methods and non-conformance management activities. And it also supports SPC, sample management, and API integration for the complex measuring systems. And in non-conformance management area, we have defect-specific apps to record the results, and customer can have their own customer-specific defect categories, and develop a Fury app for that customer-specific defect category. And it also has quite good analytical apps like quality technician overview, quality engineering overview, inspection lot analytics, inspection lot detail analytics app. And in defect handling area, we have non-conformance analytics and non-conformance detail analytics Fury apps. And then it also supports us to plan, perform, and monitor the system and supplier audits. And it supports the test equipment maintenance also by calibration inspection methodology. And we have interesting thing called the FMEA, a new Fury app. Manage FMEA has been released. Using FMEA, we can execute the failure mode and effective analysis method in a graphical representation, which allows you to find the failures at the earlier stages, and accordingly we can plan for the corrective measures, which will reduce the risks at the later stage of the production. So it is a quite good
Yes,
Fury
Prabha.
app manager for me.
Yeah, Prabha.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe I will make use this opportunity
Yeah.
to go to the final, because most of those are operational apps which gives you very good
Yeah.
capability around result recording, around defect recording, and various other areas. So maybe these are some of the features and functionality around non-conformance management, and working on those defects or issues by directly creating the quality task. Now with this thing, we are reaching to the end of our session. Prabha, maybe as to close the thing, if you have anything to talk about the most interesting quality analytics related features and functionality, then we can conclude our session, right? I'm just taking it to the last leg of the slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. So these are the few analytical apps that SAP has provided as part of QM. So here in analytical app quality engineer view, we can it will show a detailed view of what are the overdue lots, and quality engineer or technician can himself navigate from the overdue lot screen to the result recording screen. And then it allows you to check what are the repetitive defects that has been occurred, and what are the tasks assigned to a particular processor. So it gives a good detailed view of defect handling and also the inspection lot handling views. And then in the inspection lot analytical app, we can see how many inspection lots has been accepted, how many lots has been rejected, and how many partially accepted. So those things we can view in the inspection lot analytics. And in detail analytics, it gives in detail knowledge like a mean processing time of the lots. And we have other quite good apps also for processing the defects in the AD version, like problem solving process app, and manage control chart, which will give a clear picture on the deviations that occurred in specific characteristics or specific material. We can get good view using manage control chart apps also. So yeah, these are the different analytical apps we have as part of QM quality management.
Yes, Prabha. Yeah, many thanks, Prabha, for a wonderful session on the QM part also.
Yeah.
In addition to the complex manufacturing. Over to you, Shiva.
Thank you, Shekhar. Thank you, Prabha. So we'll just hold on for a few minutes so that any customers who have any questions can just unmute their line and directly have a conversation with us.
Hello.
Yes, please.
In the production planning, the managed process orders analytical app was shown. Are there any other analytical apps other than this, other than managed process orders in production planning?
Managed process order operation is also one of the Fury app, which gives similar capability around process industries. Because managed process order gives you a very good view of the delays, the progress of the operation. You can also navigate to the, in edit mode to the process order. You can also see the status of the co-product, byproduct. But further details you can also get by using the app managed process order operations, which at operation and phase level gives you that analytical capabilities as well as executional capabilities.
Okay, what is the name of the app?
Managed process order operation.
Managed process order. Okay, thank you.
So, Prabha and Chandra, it's a great presentation. I think, it has given us a lot of, insights into what we can do. I really thank you for the good presentation on this. I think it also, kind of made us realize what we are missing actually. Okay, I just sent a one-on-one to Mr. Sivakumar. I will look forward for some help on that. But definitely a very good presentation on both the aspects, on the QM as well as the PP aspects. Thank you.
Yeah, many thanks, participants, and actually in the we could not really, we had to rush a bit because of the time limits. But yes, there are interesting feature which we miss on the side from the QM side. But still, that is something which we can definitely connect with you in the session when we get an opportunity to connect with you through the next session. Thank you once again from our side also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll just close this session. Looking forward to see you next.